is to basically be able to multiply and divide powers with the same bases. So by the completion of this, you should be able to do some of these simple problems. You just have to remember today, I know it says multiplication division, just think about adding and subtracting. If you forgot, the large number right here is the base, and that small number is the exponent. And we're going to be dealing with terms that have the same base, and obviously sometimes the same exponent, but sometimes different. So first thing I want to start thinking about is when I have 5 to the second, you got to think back to when you first learned exponents. That's the same thing as 5 times 5 right here. And 5 to the fourth is 5 times 5 times 5. So if I was to multiply both of these, I have 2 5s here and an additional 4 5s here. So you're going to get 5 to the 6th. So the shortcut you're going to realize today, same base, even though it's multiplication, just add the exponents. So if you look at the shortcut here, it is 2 plus 4. Now most of the time your teachers are probably going to want you to use your scientific calculator and go 5 to 6 power and find out what number that is. But we'll get to that soon. So today, remember when you're multiplying the exponents, multiplying exponents, just add the exponents right there at the top. Example of a simple one is 10 to the second, which you already know is 100. And 10 to the third is 1,000. So if I multiply them together, I'm going to get 10 to the fifth, which is 100,000. So you'll be able to do a couple of these examples probably ahead of me. Here's some quick references for you. Right here is just the same base. You add them together. Even if you have a number, make sure that it's the same number. You can't be going like 3 to the fourth and 5 to the second. It has to have the same base. And this is what I was talking about, how you simplify it to, 3 to 6 would be 729. So first one I'm going to try is 5 to the second, 5 to the fourth. Important thing is, do they have the same base? And yes, they do. So all I have to do is I'm going to add those exponents of 2 plus 4. And I get 5 to the 6th. And then if I was to use the calculator, I would do 5 to the 6th power, and I get 15,625. So that's an easy one. Try it with the variables. Sorry, that's another one we're going to see in a second. All right, this one right here, you should be able to instantly get the answer. And I hope you have x 9 plus 5, and that's going to be x to the 14th. Okay, I want you to take a look at this one for a moment and take a guess what you think the answer is on this one. All your work has got to be is negative 10 plus 3, and that is going to give you a negative 7. Now, in previous lessons, we've talked about this, that a negative exponent becomes positive when you drop it down to the denominator. So most likely your teacher's probably going to want you to have it simplified as 1 over x to the 7. If you could kind of picture that of having 10 x's in the denominator and 3 x's in the numerator, and you notice after you cancel them out, it's kind of like a step ahead for the division. You would get into having 7 x's on the bottom. All right, another one. Take a moment, see if you can get the answer to this one really quick. You hopefully have the answer. And a lot of this I do in my head, but I'm writing this out for you. I'm just going to add that 6 plus 5. I'm going to ignore the negative 4 because, well, it does not have the same base. So you might possibly have that as an answer, but typically probably your teacher is going to want you to have that as with positive exponents. And so that y to the fourth is going to have to be in the denominator spot. All right, I want to talk about another possibilities is something like this is we've got numbers in here, and you think about it right there. Hey, what's 4 times 6? Okay, what's 3 times 8? Well, you both get 24, but do I really need to be multiplying 8 times 3? No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my coefficients, and I'm going to multiply those 4 times 6. Sometimes kids forget to do that. And then if it has the same base, the 3 plus 8, I'm going to add them together. So you should get an answer of 24 x to the 11th. I think I have one more, and then we'll start talking about division. Last one right here should hopefully have an answer. This one's even easier than the last one probably. You're just going to multiply the negative 6 and the 7, and then you're going to add the 2 plus 4, and you're going to get negative 42 x to the 14th. So real quick, if you have coefficients, make sure you multiply them. If you have the same base, make sure you're adding those exponents. And now we're briefly going to talk about division. Division, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be subtracting powers, provided they have the same base. And what helped me out a lot is way many years ago when I was in school. That's when we had the chalkboards. I remember a teacher writing a problem similar to this up on the board. For 7 to the 5th, now I wouldn't do this for every single one, but it helps you understand this idea, is my teacher wrote out 5 of the 7s on top and 2 of the 7s on the bottom. Then proceeded to cancel out if there was any of them on the top and the bottom. This is how you're like thinking about reducing. What's left? You notice right here with no highlighting is there's 3 7s. So here's the shortcut. 5 minus 2 is 3. So the answer would be 7 to the 3rd power. All right, let's try one right here. If you think about this one, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to probably thinking about the 24 divided by 3. Well, that's an easy thing. But you can also think of it kind of like spread out a little bit. Like again, I said I wouldn't recommend that you write out all these x's, but think about it. I hope that I have 11 x's on top and 5 on the bottom. Once you do that shortcut, once you realize that they will cancel out, you're going to notice that you're going to cancel out 5 of the x's, and you should be left with 6 x's on the top. So basically, this is what I'm doing in my head. I'm going to go to 24 divided by 3, or if it's just a different type of fraction, I'm going to reduce it. And then since they have the same base, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 11 and the minus the 5, and I'm going to get 6. So this is my final answer, 8x to the 6th power. I've got, I think, about 2 more like that. And, okay, maybe I should have had a negative sign in here. So I apologize on that one. Let me throw a negative sign in there real quick, even though that's not in the right spot. But I'm hoping that you guys are flexible with me on this one right here. All right, so that's not quite working for me. But as you're thinking about this one, you probably already have the answer for it. If you can think of this x to the 5th, and you've got 5 x's on the top, and then you got 8 on the bottom. Shortcut. Is basically 5 minus 8. I'm having a little bit of a problem right here. And you're going to get a negative 3. So with the negative 3 right here, you're going to notice is, I think the visual is probably going to be a little bit better, is noticing that you have 3 left on the bottom. Teacher probably is going to want you to have it as this format right here with a positive exponent. Let's hope the next one goes a little bit better. All right, this one right here, I'm hoping you already have an answer on this one. Here's the shortcut. Wait a second. I've got 14 minus a negative 6. And you're going to get an answer of x to the 20th. But if you'd actually write this out, what you would be getting right here is this is not even division. So this would be like a simple mistake right here. So what should I do with all this stuff right here? Well, if I actually put that in the format with x to the 14th on the top, it would look like this. And x to the negative 6th would be at the bottom. Now, if it's at the bottom, it is no longer going to be negative. It's going to be a positive. And if you think about this, when you do all your canceling out, you're going to go 14 minus 6, which is 8. So you've got to be patient with yourself right here, is sometimes you're going to actually want to multiply and subtract. This one right here, it's multiplication, but when you put it in this format, it's division. Kind of like what I did is I rewrote this one. All right, last one right here. If you notice on this one, you are going to get a fraction on this one. And with your x's, you're going to go 4 minus 12 is a negative 8. Again, like I said, sometimes it might be better to write it out with all the x's right here. And you're going to notice that you're going to be canceling out to 4 of them. and you're going to have 8 left on the bottom. So when you get an answer, it will look quite often like that. I hope this has been helpful to you. I mean, if you actually needed a little bit more practice, you could do a little bit on this one right here and do the real quick subtraction. Sometimes the visual helps you out, but either way, we should be getting the same answer. All right. If any of this was helpful, I do have some other videos at Mr. Kaminsky Maths. If you just search that up on YouTube, you can find a wide variety of topics. And thank you very much for your time.